Golf Shaft Revelations, a new top. Oh my God, it's the worst golf club repair that we're going to talk about, and some fitting stuff. All in What's in My Drawers Golf Talk next. Welcome back to the McGolf Shop. Jim McCleary here. What's in My Drawers Golf Talk. Why what's in my drawers? Because old club makers and club fitters are tremendous pack rats, and I'm no different. And this is where we talk about golf club repairs, golf club reviews, golf club fittings, opinions, and a couple things in between, I'm sure. So let's get started. Number one, we'll just get it right off the top. If you would, like, subscribe, hit that bell notification bar, whatever it is that you're looking at, in order to get more of these videos when they drop. Now, to go on with that, last week I told you I was going to drop one on wedges, and I didn't like it, so I didn't put it out. However, I do have one that will be going out Tuesday for sure. It is in the can, ready to rock and roll. All right, so we do have that, so please take a look at that when you get there. Secondly, this is still in the putter month. Callaway's putting out till the 14th, so that this will be the last time you see it, I believe. And that is a QR code. You get your cameras out, scan it. It does work, and that way you can get a whole bunch of putter fitting information, putter. What do you want to call it? Tips and tricks, and you get to see some videos and learn about some of the product. So take your time on that one. Also, we still have the hats. The hats actually been going pretty good. I've got one of each one of those to fit my very large noggin. And as you can see, there are different logos on different style hats. Now, not all of them are exactly like that, but they are very, very close. As you can see, I've got this was an old school logo that we had put on, and this is the dark twill. I just like the fit of these things. They all actually fit my very large noggin very well. So if you're interested, send us an email, mcgolfshop@roadrunner.com, or put it in here and we'll find you. And the other part is, if you're interested, we still have the divot tools, blue, gray, and red, and they are the switchblade variety. And the most important feature of this is that it has the pencil sharpener. Also a ball marker, which, you know what? I took one of these off and put it right here. I can't do it on this one. Oh, maybe I can. Here we go. This is just, for some reason, I just think this is clean as all get out. Yeah, I can. And there it is. So if you had a magnet on the base, these things work just fine. And they're very, very clean. They're not loud and obnoxious if you're one of those guys that likes that kind of stuff. This is my Navy coin. So that one's got to stay. That one's got to stay. All righty. So what's going on in the shop? We had a few builds. I got another set that we've got to cut and bend, and it's a 4-through-3 wedges. So very big in the iron phase. But this one is another. Remember that emergency build I had to do? Well, that is the emergency build. Let's get rid of that thing. There it is. There it is again. Nope, this is a different build I made. We already talked about that one. Let's go down here. There we go. There's a set. All right, 225s. You know, had a golfer get on there with the 225s, and ended up with a set of the Jaws Raw, and that was from a fitting, and we got him into a set. So it was quite amazing. It was a good little fit. There's the other one. These are the T100Ss that the emergency build, and he selected another different, almost, and it's like a gold. The gold you can't really see, but it's actually marbled. Very nice setup on this one. Again, with the dynamic gold shafts and the same color in the Golf Pride setup. So in reality, that was a really neat looking setup, and he actually came and picked them up this time, and just happened to be driving by. So not too bad. Put these back. All right. Now I'm going to work backwards. This is going to rank very high in one of the world's worst repairs. And so put your children away so they can see this. There it is. So for some reason, this RBZ, I'm guessing it's a driver shaft, is not fitting in this Bridgestone fairway wood, which is a 5 wood. No, it's a 15-degree 3 wood, sorry. And it has got, if you guys know what that is, you'll know how come I'm kind of panicked about this. That's JB Weld. All right, that's JB Weld. There is not a grenade on this planet that will take that thing away. So that one has some that one's going to give me some trouble, I believe. He also brought in another one for a putter, and I'm not showing you that one because I want you guys to be interested to see when we do this, because this is going to be a video. World's Worst Golf Repair Volume 3. This one's a good one. And some people took some significant liberties in what they thought golf club assembly was really all about, of which was not very good. So there you go with that one. Also, from a fitting perspective, shaft aha moment. So I finally got to the very end. Do you see these guys right back here? Right, those guys? This is the new Acura fitting for the irons. That's the new I series. They don't have all the 19 different logos on them. It's just one setup. Let me get one. All right, it's just one setup. As you can see, Acura, I suppose if I did it this way, it'd be all right. Acura, and see this is the new weave on the back end, which is something new. And they come in weight classes, and these are blue. This is a blue color. All right, blue color. Now, the further you get down here, I'm trying to get down here. The further you get down in this area, you get into the constant weights, or the CWTs, and they have a green ribbon around them. Very, very, very consistent club. And to add to that, even further down, when you get down in that neck of the woods where I see all that shine is at, those are the new TZ iron shafts, right? I've been waiting for those. The TZ shaft is to go along with the TZ shafts that are over here. So Acura is real big on families of shafts, right? They have a driver fairway hybrid and iron, right, in the I series. In the FX, not so much. It's the FX with drivers, hybrids, and fairways, but not so much in the way of an iron. But I would say it's more geared towards the constant weights. Now you have the TZs. They're not quite there all the way there yet, but the driver shaft and then the iron shaft. The iron shaft's more of a player's setup versus the I series is a little softer, and then the is a little softer. So in this video that's coming up tomorrow, I did a comparison from 75, 85, 95, 105, and 115. Okay. And we show you, and it gets pretty down and dirty about shafts. It talks about acceleration profiles, weights and flexes, and which one worked for me. Now, I will give another shout out to Srixon. I did the testing with a Srixon ZX7 and lefty. I hit it once or twice before. It felt really well. I thought, let's try it again, and it did not disappoint. Right, did not disappoint. And I tested them with the Q Stars from Srixon, which I thought would spin out, and I would hit these flyers, and it would get down there, of which it did not. So it was a good combination all the way around, and you'll get to see the results. I was really happy for a traditionally lofted club. I was throwing it into the yard pretty good, so I'm going to be really, really, really happy with those. Now, I'm not so certain if I'm going to game Strixon clubs or not, but the shaft is looking very, very close to what I want because I was hitting them so well that I had to do a comparison. So I found the weight that worked, and I went with the I series, the Acra TZ series, and then a KBS series just to see what would happen. That's another video that will be coming down the road. So now I got to figure out a club head that I want to put in there because if you guys remember, I've got a box of the Jumbo Max in there that helped me hit it a little bit further. So could be a whole family of, hey, how are you doing with all this stuff? So I'm not sure where I'm at with the clubs. Uh, I like the ZX7 and I like the Pro model. I like the Mizuno Pro model. I also like the CB from Wilson, but I really like these Rogue Pros. I might just remove the shafts and put them in there. You just never know. Okay, so that's some content, right? Let's figure out what's going to work. All righty. So we did all that. So and we got to in the winner of the golf tournament, Wyndham Clark. Not bad, right? Wyndham Clark. There was a lot of golf being played this weekend. Except here, because as I was running out to go to the golf course, it started downpouring about 3/4 of the way there. So I had to turn around and came in here and decided I was going to hit this. So there we are. And I need to start posting more of the barbecue pictures because we did. I got a Rectech 380 now, and we've been cooking some chicken on there, and it is doing a phenomenal job. I recommend it highly. All righty, so let's go to the top. Here we go. Matt, he's back on there. Shot one over. Only round this week. Well, dude, that's awesome. Question: what happens to the discarded golf shafts in your shop? Can you recycle them into other heads? Hope all is well. Thanks. Thank you, Matt. So, normally what we have done in the past is we kept when we do repairs, like a reshaft a driver shaft. There'll be days where the golfer wants the shaft back, and they get the shaft back. There's another part where man, I'm turning blue here. There we go. There's other ones that they don't care to keep them in. If they're whole entire sets, we keep them. We used to keep them in a trash can in case like a high school kid or something like that would come in there looking for it, and we would help them out in that direction. And then every once in a while, if they're really, really nice, we'll throw them on eBay and sell them. And here, as of late, we've the ones that we fixed have all been broken, so we just don't recycle that. And then every once in a while, somebody will take a few and they use them as garden stakes. My dad does. Use them as garden stakes. So there you go. Emmanuel, there you are, sir. Glad to see you can make it. I recycle shafts and other heads. There you go. Saw PingTech use round file to remove paint from a shaft before gluing it instead of a belt. Too much margin for error. Thoughts? Thanks. 79. First, let's talk about that. Well done. Breaking 80 right out of the box. And you're like the ultimate scramble partner. Used a round file to remove paint from a shaft before gluing instead of a belt. So Ping has always had just a different way. They march to a different drummer, right? They just loft with a hammer. They used to measure putters from the top of the putter up in there just so that they could mess with other people's lengths. It was funny. But as far as actually removing it, if you're talking about, say, a graphite shaft, well, because you're talking about removing paint, a graphite shaft with a round file, you have to have one delicate touch to make that go away. And I mean really delicate. Hopefully he was using a fine file in order to remove very little material at the same time, and then that way it's not so bad. Now, the positive to that is that he's creating some fairly intense grooves for the glue to hold on to, which would make it really, really hard to get rid of. So yeah, not bad. All righty. Brandon McAllister. Hello, Mr. McGough. Any experience with Mira Bettinardi wedges? Any feedback would be much appreciated. I have zero experience with the Bettinardi wedges, although they do look very, very nice. They do have a lot of style points. Functionality, I just don't know because they don't like lefties. And since I'm a lefty, I don't get to test them very often. Now, I have seen them. They have the honeycomb pattern. If it's like the putter, I'm going off the putter because I do have experience with the putter. I would say that I would believe that it's a 100% milled putter or milled wedge. Okay, and I would think that it is very hard. Right, it's very hard. Their putters are they're good looking and their milling is really unique, but the metal is hard, and I can only imagine that the wedges are the same way. So that's where I go with that. Mirror, on the other hand, yes, I've dealt with a handful of those, and I actually have hit one because again, Mira is not a big lefty provider, and okay, but theirs is a softer feel to be sure. They have a wedge that people just go gaga over. It's the one with the scallops taken out of the sole. I've had guys just absolutely gush over those things, thinking that was the greatest thing. It was like a K grind or something along that lines. Absolutely love those things. Now, why does the Miro feel so soft? And that's because they spin mill the hosel on, and that welding on there when it welds to the top, I think personally, I think it provides a little bit of dampening, and it gives it that softer feel. However, the performance is there, so no problem. Particularly if they like that one with all the scallops removed. Charlie, what do you say, sir? Number 12. Number 12. All right. Greetings from California, Mr. Schlatt says. Thank you. Uh-oh, here we go. Eric Hurt just installed the GPS putter shaft. Oh, you're going to have to let us know how that worked. That's that new one that he was talking about. Mr. Braley he was excited about it. He wasn't like all over the moon, but he was very excited about uh, the results that he was getting. That's what I know about it. Common Man, thank you, sir. Hello. Stephen Poleski, what do you say, sir? I have another build question. Will trimming the handle of the shaft change the swing weight? Well, by definition, the answer is yes, it will, because as it gets shorter, the swing weight will get lighter. The amount of swing weight that'll change it will be almost imperceivable. All right, it's three swing weight points per half of an inch. So you might move it one, right? You might move it one, and the average golfer, only the extraordinarily sensitive, the Edgar Allan Poe kind of sensitive people would sense that. Outside of that, most every golfer does not. You like that logo? It's not bad, isn't it? Simple, to the point, works good. I've got one of these on that black camo, and it looks pretty good on that one as well. We got to thank the guys at the Branded Bills for that one, because they kind of talked me into it. I didn't know about that. All righty. Travis K, watching from Jersey. I got to ask Travis, which exit? Sorry, that's just a buddy of mine was in the Navy. We used to kid him with that. Would like to see a video of bending putters and using a putter bending machine, especially with odd shaped heads. All right. I will, give me a second. Putter bending video. I don't know if I think I did something like this. Maybe not all the really oddball shaped ones, but I did do one on putter bending. They very well may be in the library because I remember talking about it and just bending golf clubs. So we might take a look at that. Need the hat. Mrs. McGolf will hook you right up. Making sure Charlie got his wedges. Not yet. Looking like tomorrow. Hopefully, I like the way they turned out, Charlie, so hopefully they're just what you wanted. Derek Brown. Probably asking a dumb question. Well, I would doubt it. But did anyone know if the RBZ TaylorMade driver head can fit on a 5R Flex Fujikura shaft? Derek, if it's a driver shaft, the answer is yes. So the RBZ TaylorMade, which is just kind of helping this repair from hell that's going on right here, is an RBZ. TaylorMade made their drivers in two different varieties. They made them in a 335 tip or a 350 tip. And the pro models, the only one that would be bigger maybe is the one that might be a draw bias, and the draw bias might be just a hair bigger. But in this particular case, it would fit either way. If it was the bigger hosel, you just need a shim, and yes, it would fit in there.
You didn't talk about the 8 wedges that you did in one night.
Oh, that's right. You know what? You know why I didn't?
Because you didn't have that photo.
You know what? But I do have that photo now.
What?
Yeah. Hold on.
How do you have it?
Mrs. McGough, because I took it.
You took it from me?
Maybe. Let's see if it's in here. I got it as a. Where'd it go? Of course. Let's see. I'm looking for a picture, guys, and it's.
Mine's really cool.
Yours is very cool. And I downloaded it, and assuming that it was going to make it into here, but it did not. I put my pictures in a special file so I can retrieve them fairly quick, and didn't make it. All right, so we're going to do it a different way. The one thing I didn't show you for stuff that we were doing is we did this record number of wedges over the weekend, and it looks a lot like this. There we go. Eight sets of wedges. And the cool part about the only common thing about this set of wedges is the shaft. If you get to look at the shaft, it's hard for you to. Anyway, the whole thing on the shaft is they're all the same shaft. They all have different grips, and they're not all different heads, but they're different lofts of heads. Yeah, and it's some Wilson, some Mizuno, and different lofts. Wilsons, yeah, high toes, pro staffs, the whole 9 yards. It was a lot of fun. Talk about keeping you on your toes for a build. Whoo-wee. All right. Let's go back to this. Schlass, do you recommend a full bag fitting all at once, or do you think it's best to do 5 through wedges, another for longer irons and woods? Well, so Schlass, I hate to bust your bubble, but I doubt anybody out there is going to fit you for each individual iron. All right, so you would have closer to an iron fitting, and maybe wedges will come into play with that, and then you go into a putter fitting, and then you'll have and then you'll figure out the hybrids and the fairway woods, and then there'll be a full-on driver fitting. I don't know anybody that fits an entire set of irons. Now, there is one guy I know of that'll pick it out. He does he'll do a 4 iron, he'll do a 7 iron, a 9 iron, and a wedge in a fitting. And he's in Scotland. And he has a very, very cool setup on how to make that go. And he's very, very successful at doing it, but it's a lot, and that's a lot of irons. But yeah, and he's a good player all by his lonesome, but his name is Scott Gorley, and good guy. But anyway, if you're doing it, if you're a younger person and you're getting ready to go out and do it, and you're in shape and whatnot, then yeah, I'd say you could probably do a full fitting. But here they're 3.5, 4 hours, so that's a lot of hitting balls with rest just little bits of rest in between. I would certainly recommend a putter and irons first, and then if you're feeling it, get into the hybrid / fairway woods, and then come back in and do the driver the very next day. All right. Do you have any info on the TZ iron shafts? Maybe put them in our next build. It's the stuff I get off the website from those guys, and it's a very low. As you get up in weight, the torque gets very, very low. The 115s are like at a 2, which is pretty much right at a steel shaft. And I got to tell you, hitting that 115, I was able to control it. I mean, it's a little too heavy for me, but I was able to control it. Felt great. It actually felt great. And then I thought 105 would be it, since that's what I've got in my shafts over here. And the feel was night and day difference. It was really, really nice. They have about an 8-inch tip section. So if you wanted something to be very burly, like for instance, you wanted the 115 to be a little bit more stiffer than stiff, we could do that with an 8-inch tip section. So it's pretty cool. All right, Jason, what do you say, sir? That's something bothering me back here. Congratulations on lab putter testing. If all goes well, do you think you might be a dealer? Well, Mr. Han is already talking to me about that. He's like, he's waiting to see how well I do first, I think. But he was wanting to send me a revealer and the whole 9 yards and see what would happen. So, for all of you don't know, I didn't mention it, and I guess I should have. So I participate in the My Golf Spy forum. I participate in a few of the others, but not as much as I do in this one here. And they do these where they have this setup where companies will send them products for their membership to review, and all you can do is sign up, right? You can sign up for it. I'm like, all right, let's sign up, and so I sign up, and I sign up for 5, 6 of them, never get picked. And I'm figuring that, they're thinking that, well, I'm in the business, that they'll probably never pick me because I do this for a living. And I thought I'll never, ever get picked. Of course, just about the minute I say that, I get a notification that I got selected to be a lab golf tester. All right. A lab golf tester. So if you go to My Golf Spy, and they go in the people that have been selected to being testers for lab golf, there's a whole thread in there, and everybody's talking about their experiences. If you thought you might even be interested in lab golf and you want to know what it's like to go through it, that very well may be a valuable source of information, right? We all talk about how we go through the process and what we're getting, and then we got to test it for about 6 weeks in order to see if it's gotten better. Well, I get to talk to Mr. Ham or Han, sorry, Sam Han, and we start talking, and he's very, very forthcoming, very straight to the point. It's very unique to see that in the industry. And then he says, well, do you know your stuff? And I said, well, I thought so, because I'm a fitter. And he goes, what? And I tell him. He's like, oh. And then all of a sudden we started talking, physics of a putt, where the eyes got to be. We had a really good conversation. He says, I'll just take your numbers, you send them to me, and I'll build it. And I was like, no, let's not do that. I want to go through the experience so I can tell you guys what's going on. And so we did. Went through his videoing process, and the funny part is that it came out just right where we're at. I think I need an inch shorter shaft personally. That's where I normally have done a lot of good golfing, and that's probably part of my issue. And I'm gonna experiment with that. But he hit the lying on the head in the whole 9 yards. So I am getting the Mez Max. And I'm getting it in a platinum color with a tri-level a sight line with a black Acra putter shaft. So this ought to be a lot of fun, and it'd be fun for testing. And he says if it works out, Jason, that maybe we will. You just never know about such things. All right, tried the Cleveland XL launchers, not Halers. Okay. With a 50 in simulator, hit the center line several times. What are your thoughts on XLs? So the XL launchers are, Cleveland is. Let's start back over. Cleveland and Srixon are in the same company. They're under the same company. Initially, what it was to be was Srixon was to be the premium brand, and the Cleveland was to be the brand that was not premium. I don't know how to say it other than that. And so the Halos was an okay shaft. The launcher, I think, is personally, I think the launcher's better. All right, there it is. I think the launcher is better. I think it's better constructed. I don't like that little dip in the head. It's distracting to me. And the Cleveland launcher actually does exactly what it says. It launches the ball. And I've hit them with some very stiff shafts in them, and they hit just fine. So yeah, I don't. If you're hitting it well, and you're getting out of it what you want it, you're not getting a bad driver. It really isn't a bad driver as well as it's working for you, right? And to the point, I was just want to tell you that I have a friend slash customer that comes down every year. His name's Mike, and I fit him easily 5-7 years ago. That takes me to another story. 5 to 7 years ago, and each year he comes down to see if he needs a new driver, and we go over a few swing tips and things like that. And he's been fighting some rotator cuffs and whatnot. Now he's finally healed, and he comes back and he says, "What do you think?" And 5 years after being fit, 5 years, I finally beat the driver that I had him in. 5 years. And this has been going on. I mean, this is going on, I guess, 5 solid years. This would be the beginning of the sixth. So, yeah. And not only did I beat it, but I beat it by like about 15 yards, and the accuracy was just crazy good. There we go. It was just crazy good. And I like it a lot. All righty. So, uh, the other part is that we had a fitting. The very first lady I ever fit in my career 20 years ago came back and got fit this last weekend. So, and she was still using the irons that I made for her. Still. And with that just is pretty damn good, I think. Pretty damn good. Yes, it is, Matt. It is a shim. And there it is. It's a shim on some of it, I suppose. I'm not even sure why you would put a shim in there, but there's got to be at least a half a pound of JB weld in there. And the thing is, it's broken right here. Imagine that with all these things in here. It's hard as a rock. But see that? It's bending right here. So I had to call him and tell him that he needed a new shaft, because there's no way that was getting fixed. So we're gonna find out what the melting point of JB weld is, which I believe is really high. That's the part I just dread. All right. Yeah, yeah. Well, you know what, Charlie, and it very well may not. This thing may be wrecked. I, I did one other one like this, but there wasn't as much stuff, and I was able to really nick it out. I had to literally chip it out with a drill, and I'm just hoping it gets a little bit better than that one. C10, what do you say? Hello there. My dog Rex, hit that like button. Thank you, sir. I appreciate the backup. I just told you. Actually, I think they're a winner. I mean, I really do. I think they're a good club. Manuel Allers. There we go. What shafts would you consider for my wedges if a current player the Vista Pro 60s in my irons? Well, could be. There's a couple ways to go with this one, Manuel. Uh, you could either do one. You could do one of at least two, maybe three things. Number one, you could put Vista Pro 60s in them again, pardon me, in order for them to have a comparable feel. If you're playing with 60s and Vista Pros, we're going to kind of assume that you're a smoother person, maybe joint pain issues, maybe a slightly slower swing speed, maybe uh, something along that lines. That's one way. I know I don't necessarily subscribe to that, but that is a possibility. The one that I would recommend is looking up into the books. Catalyst makes a wedge shaft that's about 80 grams. That 80-gram wedge shaft would fit within this category very, very well, right? They make I would stay in that 80-gram range, so it's just slightly heavier, and that way you can feel it for those slower swing speeds and you can track it. That's where I would go with that one. Now the other one, the very last one, and again I don't recommend this one, is that you could go right back to steel, just a standard club, because it is a shorter swing, it is a smaller swing. But if you're used to these 60s, the regular steels are going to feel like sledgehammers, and you very well may not have control. So I've said all that, and right back to Catalyst, right in about that 80-gram wedge shaft range, and it is a specific wedge shaft, and I would go with that one. Phil K, hello there from Austin. Went fishing the last 2 weekends. Turns out I'm just as bad a fisherman as I am a golfer, but at least you're consistent. I was going to say that. Good for you, man. You didn't go fishing in that lake, did you? Last time I looked, it was about 3 foot from being totally dry. There's Robin talking to some folks. John Timmons, what do you say? Good afternoon from sunny Arizona. Grilling weather. Nice. We like the grilling weather. I got to tell you, we put I told you Mr. McGolf got me hooked back up with my original Rectech, the 700 series, and we call it the MicTech. Mic Rectech, maybe. No, I think MicTech. Anyway, the 380 just hooked right up to it into the Wi-Fi, and it's been one heck of a buy. I haven't cranked it up to 1,000 degrees yet, but one day. Oh, there's Charlie. What are you using for barbecue sauce? Or are you going Hawaiian and doing the huli huli chicken? No huli chicken, brother. Oh, in reality on this one, Charlie, what I use is the rub that I use on the ribs, which is sweet as it is, and really don't need a whole lot of barbecue sauce. Now, what I did on this last one is I just put some on a plate and used it as dipping it in there. But if when I'm using it, there's two kinds of barbecue sauce that I'd use, and what that is the first one is the Bubba Ray's. I believe that's what they call it. Bubba Ray's. You can get it in any one of the stores. Just the standard. I think it's an excellent barbecue sauce. And then the other one is the Soul Brothers. And the Soul Brothers is the one that I found when we were at the PGA show 2 years ago. An excellent barbecue sauce. In fact, they got original, a hot or a spicy, and then they got what's called Shut Your Mouth, and it's a combination of the first two. So sweet, spicy kind of setup. Really like that. And they use a lot of natural ingredients, but when it cooks, it tends to create like a gel or a coating. You can actually burn this one, so you got to be careful. But it stick. You know how some barbecue sauce you put on it just slides right off. Not this stuff. It gets on there and it grabs on. Very, very good if you're looking for a barbecue that you want a coating on. But Soul Brothers. All right. There's our buddy Alvin. How are you, sir? Glad to see you make it on there. All righty. All right. John Timmons, do you find it common to have more than one tape under the grip? Wrap a tape, more than one tape wrap under the grip. Well, Mrs. McGolf is more inclined to answer that question. I think she does more grips than I do. But if we're re-gripping, no. Normally it's just standard. Most people don't understand what an extra roll of tape underneath means, right? They just don't. And But the guys that are more avid golfers, yeah, maybe one extra roll of tape or just under the bottom hand. That's always possible there as well. We've done that. But as a whole, not really, no. Joe, thank you, sir, for the cinnamon roll. That was awesome. Has a date been set for Mr. McGolf open house? Can't wait to try barbecue. One day, man. One day. Yep, that'll have to go through Mrs. McGolf. All right, Stu. How do I work out the length and lie for a player? Is it basically trial and error? No. For someone who blocks it, do you automatically put them in a more upright angle? No. All right, so Stu, this is a good one. Loft and lie, or I'm sorry, length and lie are connected at the hip. All right, one does not change without the other one to get you there. You really, really, really need to find out what the proper length of the club is for the golfer first. And how you do that, it's basically, I call it a consistency check. What we do here, and if you look at those clubs right there, those are all a set of irons. Same head, same shaft, same grip, same flex, same everything except for length. And what you do is you get warmed up, and then I put impact tape on it, which I've got over there. And what I'm looking for is after 3 balls, the tightest pattern you can make. I would prefer it to be in the middle, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. That is your most consistent length. And also, when you hit it like that, the one that is the most consistent, 99 times out of 100 is the one that you also hit furthest. So it's a twofer. Once you have that, then you can test for lie angle. All right, the lie angle, the lie angle will be then determined from there. So you either can do the line on the ball, hit it off of a mat, and see it, or you can hit it off a lie board. I know it's not popular in the forums, but tough. It works, and then go from there, and then find the right lie angle, and then there you go. Then from there you can test. Now, if somebody who blocks a lot is a couple of things. One, they come from the inside a little too much, and they're not rotating their hands as they're coming through. Basically, if this was a club head path, let's see, if this was your target line, right? If this was your target line going this way, what it means is that this person is coming in here and swinging out that way, right? And the face is doing nothing more than it's staying, and it comes in and it stays out there like that. And that can be a function of something that's too long because the golfer is making a move to compensate for added length. That's part of it. The other one is it could be too heavy, and the other one could be it doesn't have enough offset. So there's a lot to consider on that one. Now, if it's a total block and they're not doing in those, then a slight change to upward might be needed. The rule of thumb from C10. Is it a rule of thumb to match wedge shafts to iron shafts? I was fit into KBX Max 80s, which are very nice shafts. I bought a Cleveland wedge that came with a Dynamic Gold 115. I'm much better with wedges than I am the iron. Well, okay. So number one, no, it is not a rule of thumb to match the wedge shafts or put the iron shafts into wedges. I know we had Verska on here, and he said that's what he would do, and I think that's out of limitation. But it's funny to the point that if you bought a standard set of Rogues, Mavericks, Paradigms, any of those other ones, the average shaft weight's 85 grams, 85, 95 grams. All the wedges they sell are in the 115 range. So not even in their stock does that follow that. So which goes to what you're saying is slightly heavier shafts in the wedges. And that's where that's at. Now, so that's covering the shaft aspect of it. Good thing I've been talking about shafts this starting out because that's what we've been doing here. That's good. Anyway, the Dynamic Gold, the reason why you might be a better wedge gamer than the irons is because the wedge is shorter and it's a lot easier to manipulate. That's always a possibility. I'm not saying it's the only one, but that's always where you can, that's always a possibility. The shortest club is the easiest one to manipulate. You can get over top of it, you can make slight swing errors, and because it doesn't go as far, you don't see it as much. So if you are 5 degrees off to my left on a wedge shot, you might only be inches off when it lands. If you're 5 degrees off and you hit it 180, 200 yards, you might be 5, 6, 7 yards off. And just that's the dynamic of hitting it that way. So we have to, that's something else to consider. And the last bit is Cleveland makes a pretty decent wedge. All righty. Thanks, Charles. Got to get better at putting. Yeah, there you go. All righty. Scott Summer. What do you say, man? Hey, Gage Atkins. Charlie, I always thought it was something that holds back, and what? It's always something that holds back just enough that we can't get as low as we want to, man. You'll keep at it. You'll get there. I must be missing something up here. I'm going to go back and check. Manuel shot a 79. He did pretty doggone good. I'd say that was all right. Here's a new face. Ramsey Mosen. What do you say, sir? When you butt trim a driver shaft, what flex changes does that do? Was looking to modify a Ventus Blue Velocore. Okay. So here's how it works. I keep giving this really ugly shaft a lot of press, and I don't want to do that anymore. Since Alvin's watching, we'll do this. There we go. At the Tour AD, right? And this is the DI series. This is a very popular shaft, by the way. All right. So the question is, when you butt trim, what happens to the shaft? Okay. So how do we change flex, right? How do we change the flex? There, you tip it from the front, and you've changed the flex. Now you're gonna have to stay with me on this one. You got the shaft is a tube, right? The shaft is a tube. And if we tip trim this thing about an inch, let's just say about an inch, we put it all together and this thing is still here, right here, the frequency or the flex will change, or the frequency will change. And that's the amount of bounce that you see going up and down. Now, did it change the flex? All right, the flex is a ratio or a combination of CPMs, which is the bouncing, and the length. Okay, it's a combination that goes on a graph. And lines of flex are in the graph at around a 40 to 45 degree angle. So if you were looking on an angle and you would go, 45 inches, come up to the certain CPM, and wham, whatever line that landed on or got close to, that would be your flex. Okay. So now let's just say you haven't done anything here and you just want to tip trim just a little bit here. And let's just say it's a half of an inch. All right. So now you made the club shorter. So this frequency number goes higher. However, the shaft is shorter now. So if I come over and I come a little shorter and I go up a little higher in frequency, I just find myself in that same flex line. So not a lot changes, all right? Not a lot. Now, that's where that's coming. So it is funny, and keep with me, that the more butt section that you leave on here, let's go back. The more you trim off of here, this is the reason why frequency, when you're trimming a naked shaft, it goes up. The more that you trim here, the more that you leave here, and this is what's being measured in the frequency, and so it will show it getting stiffer. Okay, and so you go, oh, but if I trim off, it'll become less stiff. Well, we've already tip trimmed, and you're taking just that little bit off, and it'll be imperceivable. So hopefully I got you there. So will butt trimming do much to you? The answer is no. All right. The frequency will go up, but the flex will normally remain the same. Well, there you go. So there you are. Robin's talking to Hi Scott. All right. Going from the butt should not affect the flex much. See, Charlie's with us. It will affect the swing weight. There we go. Charlie's all over it. Way to go, man. John Timmons, how can I get a cap, please? There you go. Thank you, sir. If I really like Acra shafts, I may have to have D9 changed into. Okay. Well, how about we do a test run? That way you're not doing a whole set. They are very nice, though, I will say. Vic Gear, how you doing, sir? Is it a good idea to adjust the Lion individually due to shaft droop and longer irons, or are you good with one for all for one? No, I'm not. When you're testing, when you actually have the clubs, we call it a lie test. No, not that you're lying, but a lie test. And we test each and every single one because let's face it, just like you identified, Vic, the people will take a different stance. They may take a different approach. They may swing differently at the top end and may need an adjustment. Now, and the reason why I do that is because I'm not measuring the lie angle prior to. I'm getting it to where it needs to be for them. Now, after I adjust it, there's normally a stair step pattern. So 60, 60 and a half, 61, 61 and a half, 62, 62 and a half, 63, and so on. And that normally filters itself out. It's a rare animal, and every once in a while you get where two clubs might be the same lie angle, but that's it. The rest of them do change each individually. I did. I found my swing. It's really funny when you actually swing properly, good stuff happens. It's amazing. Yeah, PZ had a late session and bent 7 irons. Nice. Well done, sir. Keeping it up. YouTube user. There's something different. Jim at Golfworks. Oh, you and Jim at Golfworks are my golf repair gurus. Where can I find twining for old persimmon clubs? Ooh. You know, Jim at Golfworks is Janinic, and he taught me a lot of stuff. I was in both the classes I attended there. He was the instructor, way back in '99. So yeah, he's a good man. He had a broken ankle or something here not too long ago. As far as twining for old persimmon clubs, Golfworks used to sell it. I still have a spool of my own, and I not only do I have the spool of the twine, but I have the spool of the pitch, and I haven't looked at that thing in almost 10 years. 10 years, and I believe I still even have the little wire tool for the whipping. So yeah, we've done that. I keep it just in case. Every once in a while, somebody brings me a ping driver that I got to look at. The pitch, I don't know if I got rid of that or not. I'd have to think about that one. I have to go back and look. But as far as where you're looking, oh, Billy Bob's might have something along that lines. Billy Bob's. And I will tell you this: there's if you get on Facebook and it's called the Persimmon Golf Society, I think it's called Persimmon Golf Society. There's a lot of folks that do a lot of good work on there, and it's all that stuff. And you get on there and ask them. There's one other guy that I know that's doing it right now, and he's doing a phenomenal job, and his name is David Bass. He's in the Carolinas, does phenomenal work. He very well may be able to turn you on to where you need to go there. All right. Phil K. Fish San Juan River in the Navajo Dam near New Mexico. All right. Oh, you had a big fishing trip. Well done. Finally nice and PA doing great. Well, good. There you go. Got to fill the gaps. Yeah, that's what it is. That triple diamond is a rocket sled. When you can find the middle of that face, man, woo wee, not bad. What do you say, partner? So, are you going to be making it down to Pinehurst with the group? I was wondering about that. I think that's going to be a ton of fun. It's going to be quick and to the point, but it'll be a ton of fun. If you're only going to have 3 fingers to drink, you need bigger fingers. No, that's plenty for a weekday for me, brother. I got to get up at 4:30 in the morning. Just like she said. Lee Fusion. Hey, Jim. Love you. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. William Shaw. 92 degrees in Atkin, Texas. Oh, got some rain yesterday. Still like some information on getting the caps. There you go. She'll be on that one. Dan Bunga, sorry tuning in late. Been busy stretch at work. Good for you. Well, this is May. Oh yeah, you're getting right at the end of it, aren't you? Good for you. Get it all and then give nothing back, man. All righty. Robin's going, hey, did I send you some info? Yes, you did. You are welcome, sir. Hopefully I got it all to you. All right. There's Chris. What do you say, bub? I built a regular flex sat from wedge to driver, and if you spine them up, they feel like soft stiff, which is money for me at 56, still at 300 yard plus, 250 off the deck. Yahoo! Well done. You must be absolutely smooth as silk to get that thing going around. Well done. Looks like Miss Robin needs to get their Facebooking or her emailing going. And I'm looking at her and she's typing all over the phone right now, even as we speak. There's a bit of a delay here, so I'm waiting. Oh, now she's waving at me. There it is. Golf swings from Toronto. Hey, is all the snow gone yet? Good for you, buddy. Thank you for joining us. John Cherry from Myrtle Beach. Question on shafts. Have you any dealings with Excalibur? Yes, I have in the past, not here as of late. Robin Arthur is one of the original, he is the, not graphite design. He was a designer for golf shafts that did very, very well. And I'm having a blank spot. Anyway, he's done very, very well. And, he did actually some rifle graphite, which was not very successful. It was a great fairway wood shaft and a great iron shaft, but not much after that. And then he designed his own, and he was one of the other companies, much like Acra, that had a family of shafts where they driver, fairway wood, hybrid, and that kind of stuff. I tested some rapid tapers for him. The one thing that he had that nobody else had was a very, very light driver shaft and a very, very light iron shaft that was very low on torque. So for the older person it wasn't very fast, but was very violent. This thing was an absolute winner. Matter of fact, I could put that in some guys that were extraordinarily good swingers and fast, put a lot of load on the shaft, and it would work, and it would just work phenomenal. But as soon as he started with this Excalibur line, we just kind of lost touch, and I've got enough here with Graphite Design and Acra and some True Temper and KBS that I'm full. Any thoughts, impressions on the old Ping ZZ light iron shafts? Anything modern compare? I think the old ZZ lights, as much as I'd like to tell you something super duper expensive is the way you need to go. But every time I go and do this, I do the same comparison, and I find out that the TT XLs are the ones that tend to fit, and they have a very similar profile. And that's where I end up going with them. No on Pinehurst for me. I wish I could go. Ah, okay. It was okay. Good enough. I thought maybe you were healed up. I'm gonna miss that pulled pork, man. That stuff was awesome. Yep, Jim made it through tax season. Now we're just wrapping up the physical year in. There you go. Good for you, sir. All right. One of my steel iron shafts has a noticeable 1/4 inch dent just below the grip between two steps. Will this eventually cause a failure? Yes, yes, it will. Will it affect the performance? Not right now, but if it when it gets ready to, yeah, it'll affect your performance because it'll be in two places. The dent itself, and I talk about this in the video. So steps are in a golf shaft are a way of the designer to get the golfer. Steps in a golf shaft, from the design point of view, is a way to get the golfer to transfer energy from their swing into the ball. All right, so each shaft or each step represents a smaller transfer of energy. That's the reason why you see the rifle was so popular, in that it was one big ginormous step, or stepless shafts did very, very well. And that's one of the design criterias in a lot of these shafts, on not on the outside but the inside, is these tapers. And that taper is basically a transfer of energy from the top to the bottom. So can it get in the way of that? Yes. Will it be very perceivable? Probably in the beginning, no. Eventually, depending on where that dent is, if it's in the plane of the swing, it's just a matter of time, and you'll be getting a new one. Rob is just notified UPS has been rescheduled tomorrow between 2 and 6. Good for you, buddy. Pinky Baltazar. Very good. This, sir, was a Glenfiddich 12. And yes, it is very tasty. A friend of mine on this forum got me a 15, and I'm just trying to make it last a little bit longer. I re-injured myself at work carrying somebody. Oh, dude. You need to slow your roll, man. Slow your roll. Use that. You got the electric hookup on the thing? We have to get together and talk sometime once we get back into this. What's your opinion on Project X cipher shafts? Slats, I like them. I do. They're typically they're a lightweight shaft. They're a bit butt stiff, so in the hands you can be a little bit more. It's funny, you can be just a skosh more aggressive and get a whole lot of performance out of them. And that is, to me, what I would say that's very common in the Project X shaft line, because that's what they are, Project X, and that's their lightweight version. But the back end is going to be a little bit firmer, where the bottom is going to be maybe just a little bit softer, in order for you to bring the whole thing around. But I like them. I think they're good shafts. Thanks for all the help. No problem, sir. Anytime, man. You get healed up, dude. That's far more important. Getting healed up so that you can carry on for the dogs and the family, making more pulled pork, the whole 9 yards. When you get all done, just give us a holler and we'll be more than happy to have you in. All righty. And that, my friends, takes me to the very bottom. Awesome. All righty. So to get back to the top, so we have our world's worst repair. We have a video coming out tomorrow that talks about the new TZ golf shafts. I'll give you a preview. I like them, but to get to see what's going on and see some of the reasons why I picked them. Following that up, there'll be another one on which 90-gram shaft I did pick out of the lot that we have here, and maybe I can rejuvenate that wedge video. Also, that we're going to try this world's worst golf repair. That's going to be interesting. Hopefully, I can get it out. That would be an absolute boon. That would be one of those aha moments if I got it to work. Because I don't think it's going to work. So we'll see. We'll see. All right, guys. Again, thank you so very much for attending. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe so you can see more of this when they come out. And as always, let's see your scores go low.